Renters are fleeing Victoria. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to talk about a recent article from the realestate.com.au discussing, well, renters fleeing Victoria. I can't blame them. We're hearing about it more and more. I've even got viewers who were watching during the original lockdown who've moved up to Queensland. Guys, that's it. I mean, 4 lockdowns, can you blame people? Can you blame them? I grew up in Victoria, you know, and I remember the weather. We'd come to Queensland for holidays 3 times a year. So I guess that's why we ended up here. So before we jump through this article, let's have a look at just the weekly rental prices that are being asked for in Melbourne. Now we can see here, it's going down, everyone. Look at that. Look at units. Units just going straight down. So this is when we look at a newspaper article or a report going on about how rents are skyrocketing. It's all location dependent, everyone. You know, maybe in the sunny coast, you're struggling to find somewhere to rent, or in the Tweed region, you can't find rent, the North Rivers. Where in Melbourne, look at that. You know, right now for all units, it's $361. And if we go all the way back, let's see how long it takes us to get back to that. Come on, there we go. So 2015 prices, everyone. 2015 prices you're getting for Melbourne. For houses, not as bad, you know, 506. How do we go? I want all houses. Come on. 2017 prices, shall we say. So not quite as bad as apartments. But that's something to consider. And let's have a look at the rental listings. And this is all from SQM. You can see here. I mean, there you go, guys. Look at that. Look at how many have just flooded the market. And you know what a lot of that is going to be. It's going to be units and apartments for tourist accommodation. We can see here the number. Look at the units. Look at how many. All those investments that people have jumped into. People moving back home. So students, inner city workers, casuals are moving back home. They're moving in with friends. You don't have as many people needing units. You've got the Airbnbs closing down. You've got international students disappearing, and you've got no migration. There you go. So what happens? Well, the affordability for rent in the cities goes back 6 years. Just shows you guys. So let's look at this article to see why they're fleeing Melbourne, particularly if rents are going down so much. Well, maybe there's some other consequences to the lockdowns that the state's doing. So renters flee Victoria, back out on leases. It could be some people have just had enough and they're going, not again, we're getting out. We looked at that other article about the family that moved down to Tasmania. And I think a lot of us were envious that, you know, they're getting, you know, out on acreage in a little fishing village compared to a inner city unit in Melbourne. What would you rather have? I'm going to have a shot of coffee because it's cold here in Brisbane right now to warm myself up. What would you rather, acreage or inner city unit? Oh, it's good stuff. So, Victorian renters have backed out on leases and moved interstate as a result of the latest coronavirus lockdown, with many left struggling to make ends meet, industry groups say. It comes as Prime Minister Scott Morrison on Thursday announced a new federal support package of up to $500 for those unable to work because of a lockdown lasting longer than a week. Eligible workers, including those impacted by Greater Melbourne's extended lockdown, who would normally work more than 20 hours a week, are now eligible to receive $500, while those working less than that will receive $325. Now, the issue is, with this is turning into lockdown keeper, everyone. So it discourages the incentives for states to not just simply default to a lockdown, because they won't feel the same political ramifications. They're pushing the responsibility for people's financial disaster onto the federal government. I mean, that's how it works in politics, isn't it? So, Besser & Co. partner and head of property management, Marcel Debner, said while the payment was a step in the right direction, it would just cover the cost of rent and leave renters struggling with other living costs. Well, this is the issue, guys. This is never mentioned in anything we're talking about, is people should have, well, you should have emergency fund. You should try and get diversity of income as well. Or maybe people who are at very low risk of or have no comorbidities, maybe we should let them work. You know, just an idea. He said they'd already spoken to a number of tenants struggling to pay rent, while others have gone as far as to leave the state. I can't blame them. We've got one tenant who works in hospitality and has another job as a DJ, and all the venues are cancelled on him, he said. He said to us, I can't risk it anymore. I don't have any support in Melbourne, and has decided to move back home to Adelaide. That's what has to happen, okay? That is not... That has to happen sometimes in life, guys, okay? If you're in another city, you know, and you've got... It's just not working out through one case or another. Maybe you've got to step back. Maybe your time in that adventure has to change. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing that he has that opportunity. Last year's lockdowns were really tough for him. This was just the last straw. Mr. Dabner said others have been left unsure with what's going to happen or whether or not they can afford a rental. We've had a few people who had pre-approval for rentals who are now either staying put or now need something bigger to accommodate working from home, he said. There's a real concern for tenants who are in this position. For a lot of people, they're chewing into their savings or bond money to survive these 2 weeks in lockdown, and they may have to stay where they are longer. Well, that's what savings are for, guys. We shouldn't... The expectation that the government is always going to come to the rescue, this is a really bad precedent. The government's causing the damage, and they should be liable for it, and it should be structured as that. You know, maybe not as... This isn't... It shouldn't be framed as a support payment. This should be framed as a payment from the government for damages caused by their interventions. But you'd never have that that mindset, would you? There are lots of people who live week to week. That's the biggest problem there. The biggest takeaway from this is how many people are living week to week. Will they realize that's not how you live your life? Maybe you just need to get to... That's the challenge. I can see how hard it is living week for week with rent so bloody high. But at least we're starting to see rents come back down, everyone. You know, there you go. You know, $360 as opposed to $420. That's what, you know, a decent amount of difference that you can just start stashing away every week to build up a fund. But then with 100 days, maybe it is. Here's the thing. You live in Victoria now. This is an inherent risk. An inherent risk of residing in that state. Because lockdowns are just the de facto response. You know? So you've got to try and plan for it. Is that even possible? I mean, I'd move. I would seriously be looking at getting out of there. I get frustrated when we have a 3-day lockdown here in Queensland. And for us, it barely affects our lives. I'd hate to be in a situation like this. Imagine someone working a casual job, young person, they've got a 1-bedroom studio. It's going to be a nightmare. He added it should not be up to landlords to foot the bill for renters in need of help as a result of the lockdown. Well, it shouldn't. Because a lot of those landlords aren't super rich. A lot of them are normal people. Council to Homeless Persons Chief Executive Jenny Smith said Victorians had already been struggling with high rent prices, with casual workers and industries impacted by the lockdown now in a dire situation. People who have lost shifts at work that they rely on to make ends meet should not have to endure hardship while Victoria acts to protect Australia from the threat of COVID-19, she said. She called on the federal government to increase JobSeeker to at least $65 a day and reinstate targeted JobKeeper payments to help people keep their jobs during the extended lockdown, or to really give people a shot at affording rent. These measures would reduce the likelihood of people experiencing homelessness due to the financial crisis of the pandemic. It's not the financial crisis of the pandemic. It is the financial crisis resulted in the lockdowns implemented by our government, contrary to epidemiological arguments from the past, to mitigate the spread of this illness. That is what is causing this. Blame the Labor government in Victoria, everyone. And you'll all be going, oh, Florian, you just want everyone to die. No, I don't. And they won't. Come on. If they were really serious about mitigating mortality for this, or mitigating the morbidities for this, they would be addressing all of the issues that people can take control of. Where is the campaign? Where's that stupid fat comedian telling everyone to mask up? You know, that big fat podgy woman, the horrible one. I can't even... Zabansky, I don't know. Where is she on the TV telling people that they need to lose their weight? Because being overweight, even having a obese or being morbidly obese can increase your chance of or your need for hospitalization by 40 times. Why isn't she saying that? I wonder why. Come on. This is it. This is the thing. I lose a lot of respect for our political leaders and their interventions when they don't address all the factors. And that's been known for over a year now. I'm not making this up, everyone. This is something you should all be doing to mitigate your risk of this illness, among others. Where's the campaign? Remember in the 80s, they used to have life be in it? Oh, you couldn't do that now, could you? It hurt too many fee-fees, too many feelings. There you go. I mean, here's the solution, or here's the statement. There are consequences to the lockdowns, guys. You've got to remember that. Good old Dan. No wonder people are fleeing Afghanistan. What's your take on this, guys? What would you suggest has to be done? Do you want the government to come to the rescue? Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. Join us on YouTube or Patreon. Support us by signing up for SelfWealth or Stake. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or even good old AussieBroadband. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.